Remember the college admissions bribery scandal that saw a number of celebrity parents sent to prison? Varsity Blues is what it was called. Well, now the mastermind behind it, Rick Singer, is set to be sentenced himself tomorrow. Now, before we get to his possible sentence, let me lay out my thinking on this case so you can decide whether you agree with me. I've long believed that a lot of the parents were overcharged. Now, I know how easy it is to hate these rich, entitled parents who tried to cheat the system by either paying for better test results and or pretending their kids were elite athletes, but legally charging many of them with felonies for their actions probably would have been seen as overreach if they weren't all such perfect villains and targets. Wealthy celebrity parents like actresses Felicity Huffman and Lori Loughlin, privileged elites whose kids already had a huge advantage who paid this guy Singer in a conspiracy that ranged from bribing college coaches to changing answers on the SAT. Now, Huffman got a 14-day prison sentence. Loughlin served 2 months. Her husband, Massimo Giannulli, got 5 months. Former casino executive Gamal Abdelaziz got a year. Former Staples executive John Wilson got 15 months. A former investment firm CEO Douglas Hodge got 9 months. Ex-Georgetown tennis coach Gordon Ernst got probably the longest sentence with 2.5 years. Other parents got anywhere from 1 day to several months behind bars. It depended on how involved they were, how much they knew, etc. Now, 2 parents and 1 coach were acquitted of all charges at trial. Another parent was pardoned by former President Trump. All told, more than 50 people, including dozens of parents, were charged and convicted. And it saw Singer take in about $25 million, dole out $7 million or so to college coaches. But here is the most important point. I don't believe many of these parents would have done what they did were it not for Rick Singer convincing them to do it. Some of those who got the stiffest sentences are appealing, claiming that this should not be seen as any different than a donation to a university, which they claimed they thought it was. Now, regardless of what you think of that defense, if it weren't for Singer, none of this would have happened. But now his attorneys argue his cooperation with prosecutors should lead to a lighter sentence than what some of the parents who were convicted of participating in the scheme that he masterminded received. Singer's attorneys are asking he only serve 6 months at the most. Prosecutors are asking for 6 years. Singer is citing unspecified childhood trauma and says he's taken responsibility for what he did, and maybe so, but so did a lot of the parents who pled guilty and went to jail. Several parents, including Loughlin, claimed in their initial defense that Singer, who'd become a government informant during the investigation, tricked them into participating by encouraging donations they didn't realize were bribes, a so-called backdoor. He assured them it was legal. The problem, of course, is that it became clear it was wrong when Singer asked parents to send anything from money to college coaches for sports their kids were not involved in to phony pictures of their kids playing the sport that was being paid off. Both Loughlin and her husband eventually pled guilty to fraud. Others have said Singer's actively recruited them for his scheme, even cold calling some. A Chinese exec and his wife, who prosecutors say gave Singer $6.5 million to get their daughter into Stanford, later claimed Singer scammed them into believing it was a donation. Now, all of those may have been convenient defenses, but it is clear Singer preyed on parents who wanted to help their kids and had the means to do it. I have sympathy for some of the parents, but none for the rat who didn't just turn on them, but was the person who had convinced them it was commonplace, and as he put it, created this side door into top universities. Joining me now, Dave Lazarus, former federal prosecutor who worked on the investigation into Varsity Blues during his time with the U.S. Attorney's Office in Boston. Thanks very much for coming on the program. Appreciate it. All right. Do you think that I am being too hard on Singer here, too soft on the parents? I mean, you were involved in this investigation.
Dan, thanks for having me. You know, I think your point about Singer being the mastermind is a fair one. I think there's a range of involvement in this case. I mean, it was a sprawling case that led to more than 50 convictions. And I think the sentences have reflected that. So some of the parents have had a day in prison credited for time served, and at least one of the coaches who you talked about, Mr. Ernst, got 30 months, 2.5 years. So I think it is, you're right that Mr. Singer is the most culpable from what I've seen, and the former U.S. Attorney, Andy Lelling, said as much. The government's sentencing memo in advance of tomorrow's sentencing says that Mr. Singer is the architect of the so-called Varsity Blues scheme.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.